This is a video showing the analog multimeter. So what we have here is an analog multimeter. As the name suggests, this is an analog device. It is not showing any digital values. And since this is a multimeter, you can measure various items using this device. You can measure your DC voltage, your AC voltage, your resistance, and your current. So all your readings will be based on the deflection that you see on the top part of the multimeter. So for example, if you like to measure your voltage that you had in the previous circuit just now, since you know that the voltage cannot be 5 volt, cannot be more than 5 volt, therefore you can set your DC voltage to be 10. Again, if you are not sure about the voltage value that you are going to get, always start from the largest scale. If you fail to do so, you will blow the fuse of this device. If you see a very small deflection when using a big scale, then move it one at a time and observe the deflection. If you have a good deflection, then you should stop with the scale. To test whether your device is working, what you need to do is move your dial here so that your meter now measures resistance. And using the two probes here, you can touch these two probes together and you should see a deflection on the needle. Note that for resistance, 0 ohm is measured from the right. Here you see the scale for your resistance. But for voltage and current, your 0 starts from the left. Use the scales given and also the multiplier to determine the value that you want. And when you see the deflection here, so this is a short circuit. So by right, you should obtain a 0 ohm. But as you can see here, my dial does not say 0. So what you can do is that you have this knob here that you can turn to make it 0 ohm. And this is how you calibrate your multimeter. Please note that I am currently using a 10 kilo ohm resistance. Every time I move to a different scale, my deflection will be different. So every time when you change your resistance scale, set it so that your needle goes to 0 ohm. However, for the case of a multiplier of 1, you can see that you will never get 0 ohm, even when I turn the dial to the very end. In some cases, because these devices are analog, and so sometimes it is hard for you to get 0 ohm when the multiplier is times 1. So usually measure with these scales and not this one. To make measurement using your multimeter, in this case I'm measuring my current, and as you remember, current is always measured in series. So what do I do is that I use the probes here and wrap the one end with a wire, and this other end will be connected to your circuit. Since this needs to be in series, so what I'm going to do is that from the positive terminal of my source, I will connect it to the voltmeter here, to the ammeter, and the other end of my ammeter is used to complete the circuit, in which now I am connecting to the leg of my first resistor. So what you need to do is first break the circuit and connect your ammeter in between. Then you have your first resistor, second resistor, and finally the second leg goes to the ground. Now I need to set my dial here so that I'm measuring current, and because I'm not sure what are the values of my current, I always start from the largest scale. In this case, it is 0.25 amp. So when I turn on my circuit, I see that I have a very small deflection here. So that shows that my scale needs to be reduced. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to move from 0.25 amp or 250 amp, and now changing this to 25 milliamp. So I drop just one at a time, and see that now the deflection is slightly larger. And since I am using a 25 milliamp, so here to here will be 25 milliamp. So currently I have slightly more than 50 milli. I have slightly more than 5 milliamps. Okay. Since I know now my current is between 5 to 10 milliamps, I should not go to 2.5, because now if I go to 2.5 milliamps, that means that my needle will exceed the maximum scale, and therefore I will blow the fuse of my multimeter. So here roughly I have about 6 to 6.5 milliamp of current, and that is how you make current measurement on your analog multimeter.